Alright, this is my data structures tutorial. I chose queue and linked lists because I feel like I could do a good job of explaining them using visual aids and helping the user understand the concepts. I think I could do that about any of the data structures just fine, but I had ideas for the images for these data structures. Also, in French, queue means to like line up or get in line, so I don't know, that might have been part of it. I speak French. Um, but yeah, so each of my tutorials has quite a bit of follows the same pattern. There's a basic explanation with important principles or concepts like queue as first in, first out. Then there's an image or analogy. There's terminology because we need to understand first what we're going to talk about. And then images representing the operations. A table showing the performance of different operations. The different types of the data structure. Um, applications in the real world and programming applications of the data structure, and then a code example of the data structure. In this case, yeah, I'll explain that in a second. And then example problem. For all the example problems, I hid the example code because I wanted the user to be able to, in case they wanted to try their hand at it before seeing it, but also to keep the tutorial a little bit cleaner and neater. And then example what the code should look like when it runs. And then problem to solve. We're all familiar with like phone support wait times, like what's the wait time of customer X in the phone in the line. Again, using some images. Just really wanted to make it so that somebody saying this tutorial could understand clearly the concepts. And then I noticed when I used this idea of a line, I was thinking in the US and other places, sometimes people will cut the line or leave the line. So I wanted to reinforce this idea of first in, first out, and the fact that order of the data matters in a queue. So that's why I use the marbles in a tube, which to help the user understand, like you can't just insert a marble here, or to get the value of the red 57, you have to move these others out. You can't just pull the marble through the metal tube. So yeah, felt like that additional image was helpful. For a linked list, I've got the basic single linked list image and doubly linked list, and then this analogy of a mother who goes shopping to stores, and she plans to visit them in a specific order. So she could go to the grocery store. The grocery store is representative. Any of these stores is representative of like the node in the linked list, and the items to get at the store is representative of the value of the node. But like if she went to the grocery store in the Nordstrom's and she forgot something at the grocery store, she could go back and get it, which is similar to a doubly linked list where you can go forwards or backwards. Also, she could, a store could be added if she's like, oh, I need to go here as well, in the middle or at the end if she forgot the store. And then follows the same pattern: terminology, performance, images of the operations, types of linked lists. Again, I reinforce the difference between a doubly linked and a singly linked. I also talk about show a circular list, applications, real world and programming, code example problem we can all relate to, a music playlist, going to the next song or previous song, hidden code, so they can write it first on a to-do list for the problem to solve. And then last but not least, trees. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'll just say on the tree, I just spent a little more time explaining, I think, than what we had in our lesson about like depth first search and breadth first search and different ways of traversing. I felt like that was kind of important. And I also talked about the difference between traversal and searching. We did talk about recursion, the fact that a function calls itself. And then I'm just going to skip down here. Hopefully this won't make you dizzy. I also spent a lot more time talking about rotation with balanced binary search trees, AVL, like left rotation, left right, and right left. I felt like that was kind of important. And then I've got an example problem, file management system, which we're all familiar with, moving folders and files, and a digital phone book where you can add a new contact, search, or remove. So yeah, that's my explanation of why I chose queue and linked lists, and that's my tutorial.